Good morning. Welcome to Penn Hills, and a special welcome to District Attorney Stephen Zappala. We thank you for coming out. We thank you, everyone, for coming out to celebrate the accomplishments of Detective Hess. I recall a time when I was in high school, I saw an incident unfold where after school there was supposed to be a fight. The scrawniest kid in the school was approached by the bully during the day, and the bully said to the scrawny kid that after school he was going to beat him up. Well, the scrawny kid went to his brother and told him about this, and his brother was best friends with the captain of the football team. So after school on the street at the location where the fight was supposed to take place, when the bully showed up to attack the scrawny little kid, there was the captain standing there with the team behind him. And the bully said to the captain, "Frankie, I got no beef with you." And the captain said, "Oh, but here's the thing," and he pointed to the scrawny little kid. He said, "See, when you step across his line, you step across mine." I don't know about you, but last night I did what I do every night. I just got ready for bed, shut the light out, and slept like a baby. Every day we have our police officers out there, and they're doing things that we don't know. They're literally out there fighting crime for us. Detective Hess has gone above and beyond throughout the entire country, and you'll hear about his accomplishments soon. But in every state in America and every police department throughout the country, he was chosen as the first one in the country from Penn Hills, from Pennsylvania, I should say. We thank you deeply from the bottom of our heart, because we don't hear him say it, but as we rest and we go about our business every day, he's out there saying on behalf of us, "You step across their line, you step across mine." Thank you so much for your protection. I'd like to turn the podium over to Deborah Rabel from the Elks Lodge.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Deb Rabel, and I am the Pennsylvania Elks State Chairman for Drug Awareness. I'm also a senior member of the Wilkins Elks down in Wilkins Township. Our program for drug awareness for the Elks is mostly informational for children and for parents, but we do have other components that fall under the drug awareness umbrella, and one of them is the Enrique Camarino Award. The award is named after a DEA agent, Enrique Kiki Camarino. In 1985, he was an 11-year veteran of the DEA, and he was on assignment, undercover, and he was captured by the Mexican cartel. He was held for weeks, he was tortured, and eventually killed. He left behind a wife and 3 young sons. Each year, the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, through the Drug Awareness Program, presents the Enrique Camarino Award to a member of law enforcement in our community who best exemplifies the qualities and principles to which Agent Camarino gave his life. Nominees should be involved in their communities in an effort to help that community become drug-free. Nominees must have the support of their agency and the respect of their community. Detective Dustin Hess was nominated by Oakmont Elks through the efforts of Plum Borough Mayor Harry Schlegel. This year, I had 3 entries make the level of state. The way it works is lodges would nominate. Their first place winner would move to the district that lodge was part of in the Elks. The first place winner would then move to the state. That's where I am chairman. I had 3 entries. 1 came from Penn Hills, 1 came from West Homestead, and 1 came from Franklin. Well, I had a problem because the one that came from West Homestead was my lodge's entry. And although I also wrote Dustin's entry, I was not unbiased, was I? So I had to go in search of a judge that could be impartial. And one Sunday, while I was at Mass, I just looked up at the altar and Father Nick Catton was up at the altar, and I said, "There's my judge." And I asked him, and he agreed. He was an excellent judge. He read through all of the entries, took about an hour and a half, asked a few questions. I gave him the rules for selecting a winner. And I said, "Well, what do you think? Do you have a winner?" And he went, "Yes, Detective Dustin Hess." At the national, once I selected him at the state level, I had to forward his entry on to the national level in December. In late January and February, the national directors of the drug awareness program were to get together and read over all the entries that they got across the states. In March, I got an email from Chief Jason saying, "Have you heard anything yet? Did we win?" And I said, "I don't know yet, and with all the snow and all the directors are on the East Coast, they may not have been able to get a flight to get together to judge. Let me check." And I sent out an email, and I said, "Well, I'm just checking. I assume Pennsylvania didn't win." And the response back was, "Well, you shouldn't assume things because you did win." I was jumping up and down. But then they said to me, "Well, you can't tell anybody," because they had to wait for the hierarchy within the Elks to be told. Luckily, that came later that day, and then I was allowed to tell everybody, and I did. I sent out emails. I put stuff on Facebook. I was all over the place. I was very, very thrilled that he won. He will receive his national award in July at the Elks National Convention in Chicago. We are very happy that he is coming. His mom, his dad, his brother, the chief, his wife. Anybody else want to come to Chicago? Come on down. I got entries. We would love to have as many as possible. He's going to receive his award on Tuesday afternoon at the convention. They will be our guests down in Chicago while they're down there, and we want them to have a good time while they're there also. I want to thank Mayor Calabrese for sending Harry this way, and for Chief Jason for agreeing and nominating Detective Hess. I'm so thrilled, and you're going to be a great nominee. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank all of you for being here. We're here today to obviously recognize Detective Dustin Hess. He, as stated, has won both the state and the first time Pennsylvania's won the national. I had no doubts. I want to start here. Today is about a moment, because moments in our lives matter, not just because they happen, but because what we choose to do with them. This moment is special, not because of the recognition itself, but because of what it represents. It represents the standard. It represents the work that gets done when nobody's watching. And it represents the kind of people that this profession is built on. There's a difference between being present in the moment and truly taking it in, pausing long enough to understand what it represents, who it impacts, and why it matters. Because simply going through the motions, to me, that's not living. Living is impact. And that's what today represents. When you hear the name Detective Dustin Hess, I want you all to understand something clearly. This is not about a title. It's not about one case. It's not about an arrest or any one statistic. This is about consistency. It's about day after day showing up, and not just showing up, but showing up with a mindset. I've got to watch Dustin over his career. Dustin has always had a mindset. He doesn't say it, but his actions do. To me, that mindset that I've seen in him, it was always, I'm going to make a difference today, and it doesn't matter what stands in my way, I'm going to make it happen. And when you step back and you look at his body of work, you start to see something different. You see a pattern. You see someone who doesn't just wait for his call. You see somebody who goes out every day and he knows he's going to create an outcome and try to make a positive outcome and makes everybody around him better. Now I'm going to give you just a snapshot of the law enforcement side. The numbers will be stated later. To me, his numbers are staggering. And anybody in the law enforcement career that knows what he did. Overwhelmingly, the majority as a patrol officer in a full uniform at a marked patrol unit, and he still had to go every day and answer his calls for service, which he did to the best of his ability, and he did very well. When you hear the numbers later, the summary of it is there were firearms removed from our community. There were lives protected. Futures were changed. And those numbers you'll hear later, they matter. But what matters more is what's behind those numbers. Because every one of those numbers represents a decision that each time Detective Hess had to make. He had to make a decision on whether or not to act. He had to make a decision to step forward in very dangerous times. He also made a decision to take ownership. And I've seen it. I've seen him do it every time he goes out. He takes ownership of the safety of our community. And when you really think about it, when you really think about that, you realize that what you're looking at is not just productivity, it's purpose. And that's the difference. Because anybody can go out and just do a job, but not everyone carries a mission. And since I've met him and known him and watched him over his career, Dustin always carries a mission. So when you watch him work, and I love to watch, when you watch him work, you don't just see someone that's just going out and doing what they're supposed to do. You see somebody who's operating at a different level. I believe he operates at the highest level, and that's why I had no doubt. He's always focused, he's disciplined, he's relentless, he's compassionate. And I see that too in his field. That's, to me, it's a quality and a character of his that you cannot teach. That's just who he is. Dustin has the kind of presence where things just don't happen around him. And if they don't happen, he gets bored. They happen because of him. And that, to me, is what separates good from great. That's what separates just participating to creating impact. But here's the part that matters the most. Behind all those numbers, the arrests, the seizures, is a man of character. In his career here, he has not had a single citizen complaint filed against him. His report work and his search warrants are what I believe should be the template for everybody in our department that needs to use them. He's very well respected in the courtroom, and that was evidenced by he gave testimony for one of his cases, and a common pleas judge actually wrote something talking about how professional he sounded when he was testifying. He's also a husband and a father. He's a friend, and he's a coach to his boys' youth sports teams. Dustin's someone who understands that being strong in his profession doesn't mean that you have to lose who you are. To Dustin and to me, and I believe all of our officers, it means strengthening everybody around you. That balance, that discipline, that integrity, that's the real standard. And that's why today matters. Because when we recognize Detective Hess, we're not just recognizing what he's done, we're reinforcing what we believe in. We're setting the tone for our police department, and we're showing our beautiful community exactly what this badge means and stands for and means to us and for everyone here today. Whether you wear this uniform or you're watching from the outside, I want you to take something with you today. When you commit yourself fully to something bigger than yourself, when you decide that average is never an option, when you move with purpose with every step you take, every single day that you come in, you're not just doing the job, you become the standard. And you're the standard that others will measure themselves against. Dustin, we see your work, we respect your effort, and we are proud that you have set this example and the standard for others to follow. As I close, I want to bring us all back in to where I started, this moment. Moments like this, they don't come around often. As you heard, it's the first time Pennsylvania's ever won the nation, and it did it right here in Penn Hills with our guy. And I say this to all, but especially to you and your family. Don't let this just be another event. Take it all in. I know y'all are young. Take it in. Pause. Because what we're witnessing today is what excellence looks like. It's when nobody's cutting corners, when nobody's looking for credit. He doesn't. He's probably not comfortable with this today. And when someone decides that average is never going to be enough, this is what it looks like. So when purpose meets action, and moments like this, they don't just pass by. They set direction, they raise expectations, and if we all will let it, they change the standard for everything that comes after. So, please, don't just leave this moment here. I hope that all of you take it with you. I hope you carry it forward, and from today forward, I hope you measure it at what comes next against what you have read or heard today. So on behalf of the municipality of Penn Hills, our police department, and this beautiful community, congratulations, man. You earned it. It is now my honor to introduce District Attorney Stephen Zappala. We are very grateful to have you here, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mayor, thank you. Chief, thank you. The Borough Council, thank you for permitting me to stand here today on behalf of thousands of people in law enforcement and to acknowledge outstanding, very outstanding work. Before we get into some of the particulars, let's start with the biggest highlight of this gentleman's career, and that is marrying his wife, Caitlin. And raising, well, you're beginning to raise these three wonderful little boys. And I take it, Caitlin, you named the boys, right? Okay, all right. Very Irish, okay, I get it, okay. In part to Deb's comments, body cams have changed everything. And what I see on a regular basis, heroism, strength of character, going into places that people would normally run away from, there was a lot of people that do qualify for this type of award, this type of recognition. I see that, you guys see that, a jury sees that on occasion, but for the most part, the public doesn't see that because that's the type of evidence you guys develop on a regular basis. We don't have to try those types of cases. We've changed as a community, we've changed as a Commonwealth. This is the first time, by the way, again, to the point. And for the Elks, thank you so much for the recognition. You, ladies and gentlemen, you were wonderful. This is the first time that a member of law enforcement in this Commonwealth has been recognized in this fashion. That is outstanding. That is just outstanding. Every morning when I put on a uniform, this is my uniform. My wife, my family, they don't worry about me coming home. When you guys put on a uniform, it's an entirely different dynamic. And your family does have to think about those things. So when you're like this detective, and you're taking 59 felony arrests with handguns, and you're taking a similar number of guns off the streets, and you're dealing with very dangerous people and very dangerous dynamics. You don't get credit for that enough. But I'll tell you what, the Elks, they didn't forget about you, and they didn't forget about us. As I said, I'm permitted to stand here on behalf of thousands of people in law enforcement recognizing this, and a lot of people are jealous. They really are jealous of you guys. And Penn Hills, congratulations on recruiting people that are outstanding, people that demonstrate the types of things that Jason, your department performs at a very high level on a regular basis. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for being a leader out here in the East Hills, where you guys, and unfortunately our communities out here, we face real crime, and real actors, and real dangerous people. And nobody's ever shied away from that. In fact, these communities like you guys in Monroeville, I mean, people want to come to work there. They want to be making a difference in the community. And Detective, that's what you've done. The proclamation is short. Would you come up here, please, sir? Caitlin, would you join us with your children, please? Come on, you guys. Landon, get up here. Come on. All right, let's go. Doctor, lawyer, professor. They're not going to be a police officer. You guys have taught them not to go down that path. This is presented to Detective Hess and his family. Whereas as a proud public servant, Detective Hess has served the community of Penn Hills and its 42,000 residents since 2015. And whereas as a member of the F.A.S.T unit, Detective Hess has exceeded expectations of any single officer combating drug trafficking and violent crime. Over 300 hours of traffic patrol, 27 felony drug arrests, 59 gun arrests. And he took at least 52 guns off the streets that we're aware of. Whereas the achievements have earned him the prestigious Enrique Camarena Award, National Award, the first time that this award has been given to an officer in this Commonwealth. Whereas Detective Hess exemplifies characteristics of courage, integrity, selflessness, professionalism, and constantly inspires those around him. He's also currently serving not just as a member of the F.A.S.T unit. Detective Hess is committed husband and father of these 3 young boys, actively participating in extracurricular activities. I don't know where you find the time, sir. And therefore be it resolved that I, Allegheny County District Attorney Stephen Zappala, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby officially recognize and commend Detective Hess, for the tremendous efforts to make our community a safer place to live. In witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the District Attorney of the County of Allegheny. Detective Hess, thank you very much for what you did. You very much deserve this. Ladies and gentlemen, Detective Hess. Oh, okay.
Everybody look at me. Smile. this one? Yeah, that's okay. Thank you, everyone. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming out and showing support today. Thank you to the Plum Mayor, Harry Schlegel, for contacting Chief Bonace about this award. Thank you, Chief Bonace and Deb Rabel and the Elks Association for allowing me to represent the Penn Hills Police Department and the state of Pennsylvania for this award. Special thank you to Mr. Zappala for coming out today. Thank you to Penn Hills Mayor Calabrese for your kind words and for always supporting our department. You're great for this community. Thank you. I want to thank all my co-workers in the back for assisting me in a lot of these arrests and for covering my calls when I'm out of service. I know that could be annoying at times when I'm doing this. The Kiki Camarena Award is a two-part award, as you heard. The first part is for making a difference in the community, for proactive policing, taking illegal firearms and drugs off the streets. I truly believe and I hope that I've saved lives by the number of illegal firearms and drugs that I've taken off the streets of Penn Hill since I've been here. Overall, that is the goal. I don't get paid anymore for doing proactive policing. For putting myself in these dangerous and high-risk situations is a choice. That's what I signed up to do, and I'll continue to do that now as a detective to make Penn Hills a safer place to live. The second part of the award is for making a positive impact in the community outside of work. Just like Kiki Camarena, I am a father of the 3 boys that you saw up here. I'm a husband. I'm assistant coach for my boys' baseball team and the head coach for the Twins soccer team. That being said, the last and most important thank you goes out to my family, my mom and dad, my in-laws, my brother, and especially my wife, Caitlin. This job requires a lot of long hours and time away from home. Caitlin holds down the fort when I'm late or at work for long hours, and for that I want to recognize her and say thank you. I just want to accept this award not just for myself, but for all the proactive police officers that do this job the right way. Like Mr. Zappala said, there's thousands of great police officers in this area, in this Commonwealth, and too often we are put on the news for mistakes that are made. Let me tell you, I work with some great police officers and in this department and the surrounding area who do this job the right way. The number one thing I take pride in for all of my arrests is that they were done with integrity, talking and treating people the right way and treating them fairly no matter the situation. I just want to say thank you to everyone. That's all.
Thank you all for coming, and that concludes today's event. Appreciate all of you.
I'm just going to stick this in front of them.